Hi guys, how are we all doing? So today we are going to talk quite briefly about heart rate training. Okay, people are getting bogged down on heart rates at the moment, and what heart rate do I need to be at? How many calories do I need to burn? What percentage of my heart rate do I need to work at? So you first of all need to understand the science a little bit before we start thinking too much about numbers, like people used to do when they were Weight Watchers. Oh, what number on a scale should I be? It's now what number on my heart rate should I be? But you need to know first of all exactly the science behind how it works. So basically the heart rate you need to work at is all based on what your goal is, okay? So what's your goal? That's your first question you need to ask yourself, and then you'll need to know what heart rate to work at to achieve that goal, okay? So first thing you need to do is work out the formula. So it's 220 minus your age. So what's 220 minus your age? That's your maximum heart rate, okay? 220 minus your age, I am 44, so 220 minus my age is 176. Yes, so my maximum heart rate, that is the heart rate that I would get to if I were working at my flat out maximum, is 176 beats per minute, okay? So I don't want to be working at 176 beats per minute for that long, because I'll probably end up on the floor in a pile like a beetle, not being able to breathe, okay? Now, maximum heart rates can be achieved and can be reached and can be worked through. Now, if you're older, if you're 70 years of age, then 220 minus your age will be 150. And some 70-year-olds can work up to 150 or even more. It's just the formula, the older that you get, the less your maximum heart rate becomes. Although some people, if they've trained all their life, can achieve that heart rate. And the heart rate does slow down as we get older, slightly. Okay, your resting pulse does slow down slightly as you get older. So there's all these factors to bear in mind. Now, what I've wrote down here is percentages, okay? So percentage heart rate is what most people tend to work towards. Now, it said in the 80s that if you worked at 60% of your heart rate, you would burn more fat. Potentially the calories that come from exercising at 60% of your heart rate would be predominantly from fat. Yes, agreed. However, the total amount of calories used would be a lot less. Okay, so if you're working at 60% of your heart rate, let's work out 60% now for me, so I can go 176 beats per minute at maximum, but if I divided that by 100 and times it by 60, I'd then get 60% of my heart rate. Let's say it's 140, let's say it's 120 for example, which is probably a bit, so I'd probably be about 110, 120 with 60%. So if I'm at 120 beats per minute of my heart, what am I doing? I'm plodding along gently. I could probably do that all day long. Okay, so in the gym, is it worth doing 30 minutes of working at my heart rate at 60% of my heart rate maximum? Or is it better for me to work at a higher heart rate and actually achieve some heart and lung benefits at the same time as burning fat and more energy over that 30-minute period? In a 30-minute period, am I better working at 60% of my heart rate, or am I better working at a higher heart rate? Depends what your goal is. If I just want to have a plod on a treadmill for half an hour, I'm going to burn off a load of calories. But in half an hour, if I did some training at a higher heart rate, then I'm going to achieve a lot more calorie burning, fat burning, and heart and lung benefit within that same 30-minute session. And I don't want it all to be 176 beats per minute because I'm going to be absolutely dying on the floor. I want it to be comfortable. I want a workout that feels comfortable, but at the same time I'm getting some results. And for me, I won't be happy working at 60% of my heart rate because I won't really get a lot from that. Apart from a few calories burning, I'll probably sweat quite a bit. Okay, so that's 60% of my heart rate. Now I'm moving up to 80% of my heart rate. Okay, so 176 divided by 100 times by 80 would get me 80% of my heart rate. Let's call it 145. This is just a guess. So let's say I'm at about 145 beats per minute now, or 80% of my heart rate, bang, I'm now working. Yeah, I'm now getting some heart and lung function, I'm getting some benefit to the heart and lung functions, I'm reducing my risk of heart disease, I'm reducing my risk of high blood pressure, I'm reducing my cholesterol. All these things are happening now I've got that high heart rate kicking in, okay? my heart and lung functions and my heart and lung different factors are improving because my heart rate is now at a higher level. Okay, does that all make sense? When I go up to 90% of my heart rate maximum, let's call it 150, 560 beats per minute, I'm now really getting some benefits. This is when I'm really getting my body preparing for fat loss. Okay, so when my heart rate goes through the roof, my body's flushing its system. It's going to really help to release what we talked about in fat loss earlier on in the year, some lipogenic, lipolytic enzymes. That's the sort of things that are going to start to happen now in the body. You're going to start to really prepare the body for fat loss. Okay, it's very, very important to work at high heart rates for small period of times if you want to get every benefit there is out there on the market. Okay, so if you want to feel amazing, endorphin release doesn't happen at low heart rates. Okay, if you want to feel superior and amazing and mentally amazing and functional daily, you need to work at high heart rates for short periods. Okay, don't use your Fitbits. Don't be stood on a treadmill thinking, oh, I need to set this to this, and how does this work again? I've seen people on a treadmill for 20 minutes before they've even actually set off. That's 20 minutes of fat burning and 20 minutes of fitness that they've assigned their whole body to do at the gym, and they're still playing with the watch. 20 minutes into the workout, they've not done anything, they just stared at a watch. Yeah, so what I want you to do is use what we call rate of perceived exertion troops. Rate of perceived exertion. How it works? Exercise. When you can't breathe, slow down. Yeah, and then do that again. And we're going to do 1 to 2 to start with. 1 to 2 being 1 period of exercise to 2 periods of rest. Okay? So what that means is I want you to go for as fast as you can, as hard as you can, for 1 period of time. Might be 20 seconds, might be 30 seconds, might be 40 seconds. Might only be 10 seconds. Let's say you last 20 seconds. Let's say you're sprinting on the spot. Let's say you're on a bike, assault bike. 20 seconds, hard as you can. And then have double that amount of time in rest. 20 seconds on, 40 seconds rest. That's how you start. That's how you start to get fit and how you start to make progress and get results, okay? Then you repeat that again, and again, and again, and again. Probably say 8 times would be top end. Do that daily, if you can, or 3-4 times a week, whatever suits you, whatever suits your lifestyle. And then start to feel that you're getting somewhere. Then what you can do is move to 1-1. 1-1 means 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds off. Yeah, it'll be harder, but it will get you some amazing results, okay? So working at high intensities is a lot better than working at low intensities. That's if your goal is to get every single factor of wellness out there. Mental health, heart and lung health, fat burning. Yeah, get it? Do not work at low heart rates unless you might be training for, let's say, a 3-peak walk, or let's say you might be looking at doing walking a marathon, or maybe doing something that's an endurance-based activity. But even then, I would still recommend doing some high heart rate training as well. Okay, so your heart and lungs get used to spikes. Because if you are doing, let's say, a walk, a 3 peaks challenge, but some of it you're going to be walking uphill and it's going to tax that body a bit. Okay, so don't just play with low heart rates. Okay, let's work at that heart rate at a higher level. And I would recommend to work at 80% of your maximum heart rate at some periods during your week. Okay, don't just sit at lower heart rates. 80%, so it's 220 minus your age. That gives you a number. Divide that number by 100, times it by 80, that's your heart rate. Yeah, get it? And then try and get to that heart rate when you're doing your exercise. If you get into that heart rate during your workouts, brilliant. For those athletes or for those experienced exercises out there, aim to get that heart rate at 85 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. If you can hit that heart rate, you're going to explode in those benefits, guys. You're going to get the benefits, boom, boom, boom. You're going to feel absolutely amazing for it, okay? So, any questions, please give me a shout, drop it into the feed, and hopefully I'll answer any more questions that you do have regarding heart rate. But rate of perceived exertion, as I was talking about earlier, that is a really simple way of doing it without your watch on, without a heart rate monitor on. Work as hard as you can for as long as you can. And when you can't breathe anymore, that's going to be about 9 out of 10. Yeah? So I want you to work as hard as you can until you get your breathing to 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 being, I can't breathe, I need to rest. Yeah? And then rest for 2 periods of the time that you did it for. Okay, so that's rate to perceived exertion, number 9. If you just want to work for an endurance level, so you just want to do constant training, make sure your breathing is 6 to 8 throughout, 6, 7 or 8. If you're at 6, it's not too bad. 7, a bit tougher. 8 might be when you're doing a little bit of hill work, and then as you come back down the hill, you might be about 6 or 7 again. So 6 to 8 is going to be great for fitness training, but try and hit that 9 mark during your workouts. Okay, and that's going to give you some amazing benefit. So thanks for listening, troops, and try to implement some of those high intensity prescription exercises what I gave you today when you next hit the club. Okay, well done, troops. Any questions, like I say, please pop it on the feed and I'll talk to you soon.